What's up, kids? Hope everybody is well. Let's do this. Let me just grab my phone here and get this rocking. So, here is the thing. This is a question that comes up a lot, and I want to cover this in a couple of different ways today. How to stop the overwhelm, because it's real, right? We got to stop the overwhelm. If you're doing a high ticket coaching program, a done for you agency service, any kind of business, entrepreneurship, whatever you're doing, yeah, we talk a lot about high ticket and group coaching programs and building an agency, a model that works well for you. But ultimately, a lot of this crushes us because of the overwhelm. And, this question comes up a lot, like how to do this, how to not get overwhelmed, how to stop what's going on, how to just slow things down and know what you need to do. But ultimately, no matter what you're doing and no matter how close you think you are to success or how far you've come, it's really, really important to learn how to stop the overwhelm. So let me cover this in two ways today. First up, I want to just make sure that we understand this first step is not about just dealing with what to do next. Okay? What to do next is a big question. What strategy, what marketing event, what prospecting, how do I sell? All those things come up, right? You have to figure out what to do next. We'll talk about that in upcoming days. Super easy. We can dial that all in for you. But first up, you got to stop the overwhelm because you have a lot going on or you have nothing at all going on. Either way, things feel overwhelming, right? I get that. I struggle with that, believe it or not, all the time. Every coach, consultant, business owner, entrepreneur I know who who's successful, we deal with overwhelm. There's just no getting around it. I think that's part of the human experience. So, here's how to stop that. This is going to be really, really simple, but that's the goal, right? That's how you stop overwhelm. I have two things written right in front of me, okay? Actually, they're written literally on my forearm, on my left arm. I'm right handed on my forearm. First one, and these two are written somewhere around me pretty frequently. First one is to be present. I actually write be here on my arm because I'm here, right? So I write be here. I want to be present in the moment. Hey, welcome. Good to see you. I want to be present in the moment and I want to be right here doing what I'm doing. So literally right now, hanging out with you, I'm being present. I'm being right here, right now. All right. A few minutes ago, I was eating breakfast on the front porch with Blue, my dog, and this is just me. I was looking at a bumblebee who was kind of chilly from last night. I moved him up onto one of our azalea bushes and I just got him back in the sunshine so he could warm up a little bit because he was sitting on the concrete just like trying to get his day going again. So moved him up. That was being present, all right? That was being here. Yeah, there's a lot of things I have to do today in my work day, but right then I was was I saving a bumblebee's life or just moving it to a flower it hated? I don't know. But right then I was right there in that moment. Sometimes when I wake up in the morning, like this morning, excuse me, I wake up in the morning and all of a sudden all the thoughts of the day flood in, right? They just pile in. All these things I got to think through. Oh yeah, I got this, and we got a few more tax documents to send in, and I've got a few more calls I got to do, and I got a team member who's out for vacation this week, so I got to make sure everything's okay. You got all this stuff going on, right? Be here, be present, be in that moment. I was waking up. I just opened the windows next to me and chilled for a second. I turned on an audiobook to help dial myself back in to being right here, right now. Okay, so first up, be here, be present. Okay, be present is what a lot of people say. I simply write be here because I'm reminding myself in that moment, be right here. Today, when I've got calls with several of you from the group. Awesome. I'm going to be right there in that call. Then I've got training coming up for our mastermind program, right? Like you do. You've got your own thing going too. I'm going to be right there doing Q&A in that group. And then I've got two podcast interviews or discussions or whatever coming up after that. I don't want to be thinking about podcast interviews right now. I want to be thinking about being right here with you right now. Be present. All right, that's number one. And it's very, very straightforward, very simple. I know it seems overly simplistic, but that's it. Hey guys, welcome to see you. Good to see you. All right, number two, I have written right here on my arm, and I keep this written somewhere around me almost all the time, is do the next thing. Do the next thing. Those four words. You got two options in life, right? I actually have three. One is the hardest one. You can go absolutely berserk crazy with all the ideas you can think of and all the things you can worry about and all the stuff you could be doing right now. Multitasking, right? Sitting there watching a Disney movie with a kid while you're also on your phone, while you also have your computer popped up and you're answering some work emails and you're worrying about money and you're thinking about planning a vacation and you're also talking to somebody from your past high school that's planning a reunion. That's not being present, right? That's being all scattered. We have that choice. That's kind of crazy, right? Particularly when we're all listening to all kinds of noise from the outside and seeing people and images and stuff that makes us think we got to be someone else. But dialing that back in, I can be in one of two healthy places at a time. I can either be absolutely present and in this moment doing this thing. What's up, Cian? Happy to see you too. Happy Monday. I can be right here in this moment doing this thing, or I can be transitioning and shifting to the next thing. Do the next thing is the other thing written on my arm. Be here, or in fact, if I have written down on my arm, be here and then a big red arrow, or do the next thing. Yes, I write on my arm with Sharpies. It reminds me of things. So be here or do the next thing. That is on my arm all the time. I should just get it tattooed, right? Bottom line is, I can choose to be 100% present. You can choose to be 100% present right now. Or you can choose to transition and shift to the next thing. The beauty of this is, though, that I can't transition and shift to the next five things. I don't allow myself permission to worry about taxes and worry about what's going on with the kids and worry about how am I going to do all this stuff I got to do at work today. I don't get that luxury. That's not the choice that I give myself. You and I can give ourselves the choice to be 100% present right here in the moment or 100% moving to the next task. David, ever considered just getting those? Yeah, tattooed on there? Absolutely, David. I really have. Actually, Jill told me that last night. Every other night, probably, I sit in bed and I have a stack of Sharpies next to me in bed. She got me these Sharpies, right? I mean, Jill knows me. She knows I do this. And so I'm like rewriting several things or writing a new thing for tomorrow on my forearm to so when I wake up, I'm like, that's what I want to be thinking about, that right there. And it's never like do this task. It's always, centering type of statements. Yeah, right, David. So ultimately, we have two things you can do right now that are healthy choices emotionally, mentally, to avoid the overwhelm. First up is being 100% present. Right now, for you, be where you are right now. Like, I know you probably have multiple tabs open, or you're listening to me from another tab and you got something else going on your phone. You can be right here. There's so much peace and space and neurological good that comes from being right here, right now. You can practice that throughout the entire day. And when you do start to realize, I've got to do the next thing, it's time for me to start moving again. I've got to go. I've got to do the next meeting. I've got to get outside. I've got to do something. I've got to actually take care of the tax forms, whatever it is for you. Awesome. Then do the next thing. And when you're on to that next thing, be 100% there. Put the distractions aside. If it's a task you hate doing, like for me, I hate answering my CPA's questions. It's so boring and tedious. But when it's time to call CPA back, it's on the checklist. I get it done and I move on through that task. 100% right there. Now, kids, I know that sounds overly simplistic. I know we've all heard be present. I know we've all attended like 3 breathing classes and 2 yoga classes and been like, oh, it didn't work for me. I get it. But you know what? The practice of those things really does work. We get to choose where we are. Right now, choose to be 100% right here. And then when I hang up in a second, I'm going to, and you can too, choose to do the next thing. I know what the next thing is for me. The next thing for me is I've got some calls with folks in our group to just do Q&A and answer questions and help people move along. I've got 4 of those in a row. I love that. The next thing for me is not the 4th call, it's the next call. That's so simple for me. I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to look at the notes that I have from the person I'm about to talk to, make sure I get my brain around that conversation, and be ready to sit down and be 100% with them. I'm pushing off the other 3 calls. I'm pushing off my live Q&As today for our mastermind group. I'm pushing off the 2 podcast interviews I got after that. I'm pushing off my workout after that. All those things can wait. I'm going to be present with you right now. And then in a second, I'm going to transition to the next thing. And I'm going to sit there peacefully until the next thing comes along. And I'm going to do my part to be 100% me where I am, so I'm not overwhelmed. I hope that helps. I know that it's very, very simple, but it is very, very powerful. And it's not my ideas. We've all heard this before, but there's like so many other great things that we know, or truths about us just being humans and how to be the best humans we can. We just don't do most of them, right? We don't, because life's distracting. So get back to you. Be 100% you right now where you are. And then I know you got some things to do today, just like I do. When it's time to move to the next thing, do the next thing. Not the next 2 things, not the next 5 things, not the third thing. Do the next thing and be 100% in that moment. That's what I have for you today. That is how I avoid overwhelm. Oh, sorry, some notes over here. Sorry, I'm not paying attention, guys. JT, good morning. Man, great to see you, dude. So glad to see you. David, helps be organized and know exactly what needs to be done to actually be able to focus on the things being done right now. Yes, it does, David. So let's talk about that in the coming next several days, next several live Q&As here in the group. Super easy to do. Let's start dialing in on how to be strategic and know what is the next thing to do. I'll show you some tools and some tips that I use. I'd love to hear from you guys. Ultimately, there's some really easy, simple ways to be very systematic and structured as you think through what needs to be done next. Because, yeah, man, it's hard. There's so much noise out there, right? But we can do this. We really can. You got this. It's not difficult to be successful. In our home lives, in our personal lives, our physical health, our mental health, our work life, whatever. It's not difficult to be successful in any of those categories. What's really difficult is peeling back all the clutter and getting through the fog of life. Most of that fog is brought on by people and noise outside of us. It's the stuff that's just constantly bombarding us. If you're like me and you have a lot of noise going on in your head, I got a lot of ADHD going on up here. And I got a lot of past and a lot of present and a lot of future, I hope, too. If you're like me, you got a lot of noise going on internally, you can still choose things like we talked about today, being 100% present now, and then shifting to what is the next thing and nothing more than that, and being 100% present there over and over and over through your day. But you're right, David, let's identify what are those right next things. How do we prioritize? Let's start diving into that later as we continue on this Q&A this next week. Okay, JT, pen, sticky notes, and whiteboards are the most amazing, affordable tools to organize anything. Yes, they are. JT, I love that. I would love to show you the pens, sticky notes, and whiteboards that I use. I'm very specific about that, and I've dialed that in pretty well, at least for me, what works really well for me, and also because I work with a team, and I have 7 people on my team, not a huge team, but we're all virtual, and we all live in different parts of the United States, some overseas, and all of that needs to be connected to a team sometimes. So how do you do it where you can stay connected to the team, or where you can take all of those notes with you if you want to go out to the park and do some planning days or get some work done without having to move your entire, world with you. I love that. I'm a pretty virtual, movable, transient guy when I work. So I actually don't like having anything anchored, hard structure, or even paper. I'll show you what I do. JT, would love to see you there. Nice hanging with you again for a few minutes. Yeah, David, it's great to see you too. Okay, so I'll leave you with the last thoughts. Let me just wrap this up. Trello. Oh, yes, Ian. Love some Trello too. All right, let me just wrap this up for you guys. See, look at us. Look at us going to the next thing. It's so hard to stay focused, right? Be here, where you are right now. And in just a second, when I hang up this call, pick the next thing. So be here, do the next thing. Those are the 2 things, right? Be 100% here. Wherever you are in the moment you're in, an hour and 47 minutes from now, be 100% there. All right? And when it's time to be done with that task, project, person you're talking to, whatever, then transition to the next thing and be 100% there. All right? Be here and be 100% there when you transition. So my two things today are be here. I've got them written on my arm. Or I get to choose one of two healthy choices at a time. I get to pick one. I get to be 100% here, or I get to do the next thing. Do the next things mean I'm going to close this live right here, and I'm going to go to the next thing, and I'm going to be 100% there. All right? That's it for me. I hope you guys are freaking awesome. It's great to see you. I will dive into my organizational tools tomorrow. It's a great idea for a Facebook live or any kind of live get together. I will do that 100% tomorrow. Dive on that. I'm just looking at my calendar so I can plan that out and be accurate with what I'm telling you. Yeah, I got Facebook live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central. All the lives on all these channels live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central, and that's perfect. We'll dial in on the tools that I use, and if we have time, even how I use those tools to get calm structure so that I can very simply know what to do next. Okay, it's great to see everybody. Y'all have a fantastic day, and lean in, ask questions. I'm here, whatever platform we're on right now. Chris Williams HQ is the handle for all the platforms. Ask your questions. I do this 3 times a week purely to answer questions. I've overcome a lot of these things, and I'm still overcoming a lot of these things as an expert who's a coach and has a done for you agency and 5 kids and life and all of that at the same time. You can do this. You can be highly efficient. You don't have to work a ton. You can be highly profitable. You can get the balance back. That's why I do the Q&As. This stuff worked for me. It's been working for several years, and if I can answer questions or crack the codes for you guys, I'm 100% into that. So ask your questions. Okay, kids. Talk soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.